Hello and welcome to From Digital to D&D. For those of you unaware, this series sees a character from fiction receive a stat block for you to use in your games of D&D, along with ways to use them. Naturally, any character that features in this series belongs to their respective owners. From hell to heaven, now back to hell again with another Overlord. Trust in the absolute word of the media demon and CEO of VoxTech Enterprises, Vox.
VoxTech, trust us! Trust us! Trust us!
Now that's good television!
Vox is a sinner, a demon formed when a human soul falls into hell upon death. Little is known about Vox's mortal life other than that he was part of a news station. Vox was hungry to become the head of the station and turn the viewers into followers of his movement. He killed anyone in his way, but his plans would be cut short when a TV fell onto his head, electrocuting him to death. Once Vox's time came to an end, he was reborn in hell with a new form. Appearing mostly human, Vox's head was now a TV, and his new face projected upon it. Retaining his ego, charisma, and manipulative nature, Vox sought to gather his power like he did on Earth by amassing allies. Though his attempted partnership with the radio demon ended in humiliation and bitter hatred, Vox found partners in the form of Valentino and Velvet. Together, the trio formed the V's and rose to the rank of Overlord, one of the highest titles a sinner can attain. Bringing a fresh wave of technology to hell, Vox founded VoxTech Enterprises, serving as the CEO. VoxTech would become a foundational institution in hell, having a stranglehold over most forms of media one would consume from a screen. News, fashion, adult entertainment, and many more exports came from the production line of VoxTech. But the root of Vox's charisma is in his hypnotic gaze. Vox could entrap other sinners within his left eye, hypnotizing them into doing whatever he wanted. Though he had an empire in hell, Vox would always desire more. After the Princess of Hell, Charlie Morningstar, proved the angels of heaven could be killed, Vox saw an opportunity. If he could figure out a way to get up there, Vox could raise an army to storm the gates of heaven, slaughtering the angels and placing himself as a new god. With his powers of persuasion and deception, Vox had little trouble rallying the souls of hell to his banner, angering them into willingly going to war with heaven, especially when he finally managed to publicly defeat Alistair and take him hostage. With careful planning, Vox rallied almost all the sinners and overlords to prepare for war with heaven. And with the aid of Carmilla Carmine, Vox constructed a weapon capable of destroying the gates of heaven. Everything was set until Vox made one fatal mistake. Like many times before, Vox was tricked by Alistair, and he accidentally released the radio demon. Even at the peak of his power, Vox couldn't defeat Alistair, so he opted to blow Alistair up with the weapon along with himself and everyone for miles. But Vox pushed too far and was finally silenced by the other V's, who grew sick of Vox's selfish pride. Though forced to withdraw, Vox still lingers and will likely return one day. Vox has a myriad of powers that no other Overlord has demonstrated over technology. But at his baseline, Vox is a sinner. As a sinner, Vox is unkillable by any means other than holy weaponry or divine power. He can still be harmed and wounded, but any injuries eventually regenerate, and Vox will eventually pull himself back together if not killed properly. Vox is a technopath, able to bend technology to his will with just a thought. Screens, cables, cameras, phones, any technology can be an extension of Vox's will. Vox can project any image he wants across a countless number of screens, He can animate cables, wielding them like electrified tentacles and lifting himself into the air. He can instantly communicate with anyone he knows who is near a screen. And by connecting himself to the network via cables, he can increase his power. But Vox isn't reliant on there being technology nearby. As living technology, Vox can turn himself into electricity and race through the power lines. Or he can conduct himself to living creatures and land on them like a lightning bolt. His claws are razor sharp and capable of outputting deadly amounts of electricity. Vox's manipulation of electricity is so advanced that he can make holographic projections from thin air. But Vox's true power is his charisma and hypnosis. Vox is a master manipulator, able to sway the masses and turn any situation to his advantage. Even if his words fail, his left eye can emit a hypnotic pattern able to dominate the minds of those who stare into it. This hypnosis is powerful, able to dominate the minds of lesser beings and turn them into puppets who will follow Vox's commands for a time. His control is so absolute that he can make the victim forget he was ever there. However, Vox has one weakness: ego. Vox's pride is immense. He thinks himself worthy of the title of God. He has a compulsive need to be seen as powerful, desirable, and venerated. Nobody draws out Vox's insecurity like Alistair. The mere mention of the radio demon is able to send Vox into a jealous rage. When his emotions grow uncontrollable, Vox can short-circuit an overload with power, which takes the form of a city-wide blackout. However, emotions also fuel Vox, and if his approval rating grows high enough, he can ascend to a new level of power, unleashing his full demonic power as he takes on a spider-like appearance. Though other beings in hell are more powerful than Vox, his cunning allows him to stack the playing field in his favour. Vox was a fun challenge to convert into D&D. If you wish to view the full stat sheet, please feel free to do so. The link to it is in the description. But there are some areas I'd like to highlight and explain. Vox has the Immortal Sinner trait just like Alistair, meaning he can only be permanently killed with a holy weapon or radiant damage. There's another trait I'd like to go over, but I'll save that for the end. Moving on to actions. Most of Vox's fighting style relies on his power cables, and with these cables, he can entrap his foes with them. Should he entrap an enemy, he can freely choose to electrocute them at the start of their turn. And should he want to dispose of them, he can fling them away with great force. And for a more upfront approach, Vox can utilize his incredibly sharp claws, which deal a ton of damage. But Vox's most special action is Trust Me. Anyone who can see his face within 30 feet has to make a wisdom saving throw or be charmed and fall under the effects of Dominate Monster. He doesn't need to concentrate on the effect, and he can mess with the victim's memories, making them forget he was ever there. This is Vox's most dangerous asset, as if he is lucky, he can raise an army in minutes that will follow his commands like mindless puppets. However, should a creature's will be strong enough, they become immune to this action. Vox has a teleport bonus action, but static teleport makes Vox dangerously slippery. He can teleport up to 120 feet, and if he chooses to, Vox can make anyone within 10 feet of his destination make a dexterity saving throw or take lightning damage as he crashes down like a lightning bolt. Bear in mind, he can choose to deal no damage when he teleports. Pinning Vox down will be very hard. And should you push him too far, you'll trigger his reaction, Blackout. If Vox takes damage whilst under 30 hit points, he can unleash a blast of lightning that fries everything within a mile. Everyone will need to make a dexterity saving throw to avoid taking the full 8d6 lightning damage. But there is one last thing to mention before we get to the last trait. Those of you who saw the Alistair video may recall the option for cultists. Given Vox Tech is literally a tech cult, I thought it made sense to give a unique trait option to cultists of Vox. A cultist of Vox will get the Vox Tech trait, which lets them cast sending at will and without needing material components. However, they can only target Vox or other creatures with this trait as they gain access to the network of Vox Tech. And finally, we loop back to the last notable trait, 100% approval rating. This trait can only trigger at the start of Vox's turn if he has amassed enough support from his followers, which the DM gets the say on. Should Vox have enough support to get his approval rating up, he gets the effects of Tensor's Transformation and Enlarge Reduce. For those of you who need a reminder, Tensor's Transformation gives you a ton of buffs. Temporary hit points, advantage on melee attacks, extra damage on hits, and more. It does stop Vox from casting spells though, as the trade-off. And with the Enlarge aspect of Enlarge Reduce, Vox quite literally becomes a bigger threat. For those of you curious, a critical hit with Vox's claws deals 6d12 plus 4 slashing damage, 18d6 lightning damage, 6d12 force damage, and 3d4 slashing damage. That's an average of 152 damage if Vox is going all out. If you decide to let Vox use this trait, I would only do so for the final fight with him. And let's not forget, one of Vox's main things is that he rarely fights alone. You'll be shocked to learn that Vox would best serve as an antagonistic force. He is the head of a powerful media empire in Hell, and his influence will spread as far as he can make it go. Imagine a being like Vox manifesting in the Hells and causing a technological revolution. The hardware of Vox Tech would be like nothing ever seen before in the Hells, and even the Archdevils would be eager to claim the Media Devil. Perhaps Vox's title of Overlord is a gift from Asmodeus himself, making Vox unclaimable by any devil in Hell, granting Vox autonomy to establish Vox Tech across all the layers. Perhaps the party are informed of a revolution happening in the Hells, word of a new devil appearing and reshaking the status quo in a way nobody has done before. If this media devil is allowed to keep growing his empire, the devils will become even more powerful. The party must descend into the Hells and find Vox, stopping his rise to power. But let's say Vox and Vox Tech have been around for a while. As one of the Hell's most successful businesses, Vox has a presence on several layers, with his exports even spreading to other planes. Even in the mortal world, there are cultists who worship Vox and serve as employees of Vox Tech. Circumstances and bargains have kept Vox from rising in power quickly, but many suspect he has an endgame. Perhaps the throne of Asmodeus? To rule from the peak of Mount Celestia? To break away from the Hells and turn the Abyss into an endless industrial complex? The only thing that is clear is that the masses seem to trust in Vox's words, that he is a devil of the people. But a deeper look reveals Vox's plan is not just to become a god, but the only god. His ambitions may be far beyond his true capabilities, but an egomaniac will go to extreme lengths to indulge their desires. He may be mad, but Vox knows there is strength in numbers, that he cannot do everything alone. With bribes, manipulation, bargains, and blackmail, Vox will amass an army of followers who will do whatever he commands. I have one last curveball, however. Let's move Vox away from the Hells and into the Abyss. As the media demon, Vox could have claimed a whole layer of the Abyss, which could be Vox Tech itself. This layer is a sprawling cyberpunk city where Vox reigns supreme, the Overlord who has an iron grip on the countless souls inside. The exports that come out of this layer are coveted not just by other demons of the Abyss, but by creatures from the other planes with vices Vox can fulfill. Vox is loud. and his presence should be felt at all times, which will make shutting him up all the more satisfying. But with that, we've reached the end of today's video. Before you head off, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you managed to get something out of this. If you feel like helping out, you can become a patron using the link in the description. The stat block for Vox is available on D&D Beyond for free, and the link to it is in the description. I hope you all have a great day, and may your dice roll favourably. Goodbye for now.